Trump, the man who changed America. Donald Trump didn't become a billionaire by accident. His story begins with his father, Fred Trump, a tough and disciplined businessman who built a real estate empire in New York and taught his son the ruthless rules of success. A tough childhood in Queens. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, in Queens, New York. Unlike the glitzy skyscrapers he would later build, his childhood was in a middle-class neighborhood. His father, Fred Trump, was already a successful real estate developer who owned apartment buildings across Brooklyn and Queens. Fred was a no-nonsense, hard-working man who believed in discipline. He didn't spoil his kids. Instead, he taught them to fight for every dollar. Young Donald often joined his father on construction sites, learning how to negotiate with contractors and collect rent from tenants. But Fred was also strict and demanding. He believed that life was a battle, and only the strong survived. This mindset would shape Donald's aggressive business style later in life. Military school, where Trump learned to fight. As a teenager, Donald was wild and rebellious. He got into so much trouble in school that his parents sent him to New York Military Academy at age 13. At first, Donald hated it, waking up early, strict rules, and tough drills. But over time, he thrived. He became a star athlete, captain of the baseball team, and even a leader among cadets. The academy taught him discipline, confidence, and how to command attention, skills he'd later use in business and politics. Most importantly, it toughened him up. He learned that to win, you had to be bold, loud, and unafraid to crush your rivals. Learning the ruthless business tactics. After college, Donald joined the Trump Organization, his father's company. Fred was a master at cutting costs, exploiting loopholes, and making deals. He built his fortune by cheaply constructing government-subsidized housing, earning millions while keeping expenses low. Donald watched and learned how to manipulate the system using political connections for permits. The power of branding, even slapping the Trump name on cheap apartments, made them seem luxurious. Never show weakness, always attack back harder when challenged. But Fred's business was small-time compared to what Donald wanted. While Fred built apartments in Brooklyn, Donald dreamed of skyscrapers in Manhattan. He knew that to be truly rich, he had to break out on his own. The birth of a future tycoon. By his mid-20s, Donald Trump was ready to conquer New York. He had his father's money, his military school confidence, and a burning desire to be famous. Why this matters? Fred Trump didn't just give Donald money, he gave him a ruthless mindset. The lessons from Queens and military school turned Donald into a fighter who believed winning was everything. This was the foundation of Trump the businessman, Trump the celebrity, and eventually, Trump the president. The 1980s were Donald Trump's glory days, a time when he became a billionaire, a celebrity, and a symbol of luxury. But it was also a decade of huge risks, near disasters, and shocking comebacks. This is the story of how Trump built skyscrapers, lost fortunes in casinos, and still came out on top. The birth of Trump Tower 1983, a symbol of power. In the early 80s, Donald Trump wanted one thing: to be the king of Manhattan. His father, Fred, had built apartments in Brooklyn and Queens, but Donald wanted glamour, fame, and gold. His big break came when he bought an old department store near Fifth Avenue, the most expensive street in New York. He demolished it and built Trump Tower, a 58-story skyscraper covered in shiny glass and gold. Why Trump Tower was a masterstroke? It wasn't just an office building, it was a luxury fantasy. Famous people like Michael Jackson and Johnny Carson bought condos there. Trump made sure his name was everywhere, turning Trump into a symbol of wealth. This was Trump's first big win, and it made him a star. Atlantic City gambled. The rise and fall of Trump's casinos. In the 80s, gambling was exploding in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Trump saw dollar signs and jumped in. The good times 1980 to 1990. He opened Trump Plaza, a casino hotel. In 1984, Then came the Taj Mahal, the biggest casino in the world at the time. For a while, he was the casino king, making millions every week. The downfall 1990s. But Trump had a big problem. He borrowed too much money. The Taj Mahal cost $1 billion to build, way more than he had. People started going to Las Vegas instead of Atlantic City. By 1991, his casinos were drowning in debt. The survival trick. Instead of going broke like a normal person, Trump used a secret weapon: bankruptcy. He didn't lose his own money, the banks and investors did. He made deals to keep control while others took the losses. He walked away still rich, while his casinos struggled. Lesson learned. Trump's genius wasn't just making money, it was surviving failure. The comeback. How Trump stayed famous. Even after his casinos failed, Trump never looked like a loser. How? 1. The media loved him. He was always on TV, in gossip magazines, and in the news. 2. He kept building even with debt. He launched new projects like Trump World Tower. 3. The Art of the Deal 1987. His book made him look like a business genius, even when his real businesses were struggling. By the end of the 80s, Trump was more famous than ever, even if his money wasn't as real as people thought. Why this decade mattered. The 80s made Trump a legend. He proved that branding is everything. His name equals luxury. You can fail big and still win. Bankruptcy didn't destroy him. Fame is as important as money. He stayed in the spotlight no matter what. These lessons would later help him in politics. The 80s showed Trump at his best and worst, building empires, taking crazy risks, and always finding a way to bounce back. Do you think Trump was a genius businessman, or just lucky? Tell us know in the comment. The 1990s and early 2000s turned Donald Trump from a businessman into a full-blown celebrity. This was the era of glamorous wives, wild tabloid scandals, and a TV show that saved his career. Here's how Trump became famous for being famous and used it to make a comeback. Trump's tabloid love life. While his casinos were struggling, Trump kept the public entertained with his dramatic personal life. 1. Ivana Trump, the first Mrs. Trump 1977-1992. A glamorous Czech skier and model. They had 3 kids: Donald Jr., Ivanka, Eric. Their marriage was all about luxury and power until the scandal. Trump had an affair with Marla Maples, a young actress. The divorce was messy, with headlines like "Best Sex I've Ever Had," thanks to Ivana's shocking interviews. 2. Marla Maples' wife to 1993 to 1999. They married after his divorce but split quickly. Had 1 daughter, Tiffany. The marriage ended quietly. Trump didn't like losing. 3. Melania Trump, the supermodel wife 2005 present. A stunning Slovenian model 24 years younger than him. Married in a gold-covered wedding at Mar-a-Lago. Gave birth to Baron Trump in 2006. Why it mattered. Trump's love life kept him in the news even when his businesses weren't doing well. The scandals that made him famous. Trump didn't just date models, he created drama everywhere. Cheating rumors, multiple affairs even while married to Melania. Vicious feuds of fights with celebrities like Rosie O'Donnell. Bizarre quotes: "I've said if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her." The media loved him because he was always saying something shocking. The Apprentice. How Trump became a TV star 2004. By the early 2000s, Trump's businesses were struggling again. But then came the biggest comeback of his life. The Apprentice, a reality show where contestants competed for a job with Trump. His famous line, "You're fired," became a national catchphrase. The character, Trump played the tough, rich boss, exactly what people imagined. The result, the show was a huge hit, making him $1 million per episode. Why it worked. Made him look like a successful businessman even if his real companies weren't perfect. Kept him on TV every week for free publicity. Set him up for his next big move, politics. Why this era mattered. Before The Apprentice, Trump was just a washed-up businessman with casino debts. After, he was a household name ready for something bigger. His secret, famous power, even bad attention kept him relevant. Trump proved that scandals don't ruin you if you control the story. Was Trump a genius at staying famous, or just lucky? Let us know in the comment. In 2011, he took a big step into politics by pushing a conspiracy theory that would change his career forever, the birther movement. What was the birther conspiracy? The birther conspiracy claimed that President Barack Obama was not born in the United States and therefore was not a legitimate president. Even though Obama had released his birth certificate proving he was born in Hawaii, some people including Trump kept questioning it. Trump didn't start the rumor, but he became its biggest promoter. He went on TV, tweeted, and gave interviews demanding Obama release his real birth certificate. He even falsely claimed he had investigators in Hawaii finding amazing secrets. Why did Trump do it? 1. Media attention. Trump controversy got headlines. By attacking Obama, he stayed in the news. 2. Political entry. He was testing the waters for a presidential run. The birther issue helped him connect with conservative voters who distrusted Obama. 3. Distraction and branding. Trump built his image as an outsider who tells it like it is, even if his claims were false. The result? A political launching pad. In 2011, Obama finally released his long-form birth certificate, humoring Trump's demands. Trump took credit, boosting his reputation among conspiracy-minded voters. By 2015, he used this fame to run for president, winning over fans who loved his anti-establishment style. The bigger picture. Trump's birther campaign was a preview of his political strategy. Provoke the media, keep the spotlight on himself. Spread doubt even when facts were clear. He kept the controversy alive. Mobilize supporters. He turned conspiracy theories into loyalty tests. Conclusion. The birther conspiracy was Trump's first big political move. It showed how he could use controversy, misinformation, and media battles to build power. Years later, the same tactics would help him win the White House. In politics, sometimes the loudest voice, not the most truthful one, wins the crowd, and Trump mastered that game early. 2016, the greatest political upset, how Trump shocked the world. In 2016, Donald Trump did something nobody expected. He beat Hillary Clinton and became president. Experts, polls, and even late-night TV shows said he couldn't win, but he did. Here's how. Make America Great Again. Trump's slogan was simple but powerful. He told voters, "Washington is broken, politicians only help the rich. I'll bring back jobs, factories left, China stole them. I'm not politically correct." He said things other politicians wouldn't. People loved his tough talk, even when it was rude or false. The big fight versus Hillary Clinton. Hillary was the favorite, experienced, smart, and backed by big names, but she had problems. Many didn't trust her emails, Wall Street speeches. She called Trump supporters deplorables, which made them mad. She focused more on Trump's flaws than big ideas. Meanwhile, Trump kept attacking crooked Hillary. He made her honesty the biggest issue. Drain the swamp. He promised to fire corrupt politicians. Social media wars. Trump tweeted constantly, getting free attention. The shocking victory. On election night, TV anchors were stunned. States that always voted Democrat, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, flipped to Trump. Why? Working-class whites, factory workers, small-town voters felt left behind. Rural America, big cities loved Hillary, but Trump won the countryside. FBI drama. Last-minute FBI announcements about Hillary's emails hurt her. Why did polls get it wrong? Many Trump voters were shy. They didn't tell pollsters they supported him. The media underestimated how angry people were at the government. Trump's rallies were packed, but experts thought it was just noise. The aftermath. Celebration and protests. Trump fans cheered. Cities erupted in anti-Trump marches. Fake news wars. Trump attacked media that doubted him. A new playbook. He proved an outsider could win by breaking all the rules. 2016 changed politics forever. It showed that anger, big promises, and social media could beat experience and money, and nobody saw it coming. Donald Trump's time as U.S. president was full of drama, big tweets, and lots of arguments. He was different from any president before him, loud, bold, and always in the news. The tweets. Trump loved Twitter, now called X. He used it to talk directly to people, often late at night. Sometimes he insulted his enemies, sometimes he made big announcements. His tweets caused excitement, anger, and confusion, sometimes all at once. Stormy Daniels scandal. Before he was president, Trump had a secret affair with a porn star named Stormy Daniels. Later, his lawyer paid her money to stay quiet before the 2016 election. When this came out, people wondered if Trump broke the law to hide the truth. The Mueller report. After Trump won the 2016 election, investigators looked into whether Russia helped him win. A special lawyer, Robert Mueller, led the investigation. The report said Russia did interfere, but it didn't prove Trump worked with them. Still, many people thought Trump tried to stop the investigation. North Korea and strange friendships. Trump met with North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, something no other president had done. They shook hands and smiled, but North Korea kept testing missiles. People wondered if these meetings really helped. The wall that wasn't built. Trump promised to build a huge wall on the Mexico border and make Mexico pay for it, but the wall was never fully built. And Mexico didn't pay. Instead, parts of the wall were added, and the whole thing became a big argument. 2 impeachments. Trump was impeached twice, a record for any president. First impeachment 2019, for pressuring Ukraine to dig up dirt on his political rival, Joe Biden. Second impeachment 2021, for encouraging the Capitol riot when his supporters stormed Congress to stop Biden's win from being confirmed. Both times, the Senate didn't remove him from office. Even after losing the 2020 election to Biden, Trump refused to accept it. His supporters attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, leading to arrests and more investigations. Trump's presidency was like a wild TV show full of fights, scandals, and surprises. Some loved him for shaking up politics. Others thought he caused too much chaos. Either way, nobody could ignore him. When COVID-19 hit in early 2020, President Trump faced the biggest crisis of his presidency. But instead of uniting the country, his response led to more division, wild theories, and, eventually, the storming of the Capitol. The pandemic response. At first, Trump downplayed the virus, saying it would disappear like magic. But as cases rose, states shut down, and hospitals filled up. Trump clashed with scientists, suggesting unproven cures like bleach injections, which he later claimed was a joke. Some states followed his push to reopen quickly, while others stayed strict. The U.S. soon had more deaths than any other country. Fake news and conspiracies. Trump blamed the media for exaggerating the crisis, calling it fake news. His supporters spread wild theories. It's just the flu. Many refused to wear masks, saying COVID wasn't serious. The deep state made the virus. Some believed it was a plot to hurt Trump. Bill Gates wants to track us with vaccines. False claims made people distrust the coming vaccines. Even when vaccines arrived in late 2020, Many Trump supporters refused them, despite Trump taking one himself in secret. The 2020 election and the big lie. As the election neared, Trump warned of fraud, saying mail-in voting, which more people used because of COVID, would lead to cheating. When he lost to Joe Biden, he refused to accept it, claiming the election was stolen. Lawsuits and failed proof. For Trump's team filed over 60 lawsuits but found no real evidence of fraud. Even judges he appointed dismissed the cases. Pressure on states. Trump called Georgia officials, begging them to find more votes. They refused. Stop the steal rallies. His supporters protested, convinced the election was rigged. January 6, the Capitol riot. On January 6, 2021, Congress met to confirm Biden's win. Trump spoke at a rally, telling supporters to fight like hell. Soon after, a violent mob stormed the Capitol, breaking windows, attacking police, and forcing lawmakers to hide. 5 people died. Trump was impeached again for inciting the riot but wasn't removed. Even after leaving office, he kept pushing the big lie, splitting the country further. The aftermath. Some Republicans turned against Trump, but many stayed loyal. The chaos of COVID, the election drama, and January 6 left America deeply divided, with some still believing, against all proof, that Trump really won. Trump's final year was a storm of crisis, conspiracy, and denial, one that changed politics forever. Donald Trump's presidency ended in chaos, with a violent attack on the U.S. Capitol, a historic second impeachment, and a wave of legal troubles that followed him long after he left the White House. The Capitol riot of January 6, 2021. Trump refused to accept his 2020 election loss to Joe Biden on January 6, as Congress met to certify Biden's victory. Trump held a rally near the White House, telling his supporters, "Fight like hell, or you won't have a country anymore." Minutes later, a furious mob stormed the Capitol. They broke windows, attacked police, and rampaged through the halls while lawmakers hid in fear. 5 people died, including a police officer. The world watched in shock as the U.S. government came under attack by its own citizens. Second impeachment, incitement of insurrection. Just 1 week later, the House of Representatives impeached Trump for inciting the riot, making him the only president ever impeached twice. But the Senate trial happened after he left office, and most Republicans voted to acquit him, avoiding a conviction. Legal battles and indictments. Even out of office, Trump's troubles were far from over. He faced multiple criminal investigations. 1. Classified documents case. The FBI raided his Florida home Mar-a-Lago and found top-secret government files stuffed in bathrooms and storage rooms. He was charged with keeping national secrets illegally. 2. Election interference. Georgia prosecutors said Trump pressured Georgia officials to find votes to overturn Biden's win. A recorded phone call proved it. 3. Hush money. Stormy Daniels case. New York jury found him guilty of falsifying business records to hide payments to a porn star before the 2016 election. 4. January 6 federal case. Special prosecutors accused Trump of plotting to overturn the election, leading to the Capitol attack. Trump's defense. Witch hunt. Trump called all the cases a political conspiracy to stop him from running again. His supporters stood by him, while critics said no one, not even a president, should be above the law. The aftermath. Despite the indictments, Trump ran for president again in 2024, using his legal troubles to rally his base. Some saw him as a victim, others saw him as a danger to democracy. One thing was clear: Trump's fall from power wasn't quiet. From the riot to the courtroom, his story was far from over. Donald Trump wants to be president again in 2024, but this time, He's campaigning from courtrooms instead of rallies. With criminal charges piling up and America more divided than ever, his comeback bid is unlike any other in history. Running from courtrooms. Trump isn't just fighting political rivals, he's fighting for criminal cases while running for president. Hush money conviction, NY found guilty of hiding payments to Stormy Daniels. Classified documents case, FL charged for keeping top-secret files at Mar-a-Lago. Election interference, guy in D.C. accused of trying to steal the 2020 election. Instead of slowing him down, the cases made him more popular with his base. He calls himself a political prisoner and fundraises off mugshots. Total control of the GOP. Most Republican leaders fell in line behind Trump, scared of his loyal voters. Even after January 6th, he crushed his primary rivals. Critics like Nikki Haley warned he'd lose again, but GOP voters didn't care. They wanted Trump's fighting style back. America's divided future. Supporters see him as the only leader tough enough to save America. Opponents fear he'll ignore laws, punish enemies, and spark more chaos. Big issues, inflation, immigration, and abortion could decide the race. Can he win? Yes, his base is fired up. Biden looks weak to many, and Trump could swing key states. No, his legal troubles motivate Democrats, and swing voters may fear more drama. One thing's certain, a Trump 2024 win would be the most explosive comeback ever, and his loss could spark even bigger protests. America isn't just choosing a president, it's choosing what kind of country it wants to be. Trump's legacy, hero or villain. Donald Trump left the White House in 2021, but his impact on America is far from over. Some call him a fearless champion, others say he was a dangerous threat. So how will history remember him? The hero version. To his supporters, Trump was a political rebel who put America first, a tough on trade, borders, and foreign wars. Shook up the system, drained the swamp, or tried to end mock the fake news media. Gave people a voice, spoke for forgotten workers against elites. Changed politics forever, proved an outsider could win and control the GOP. They believe future generations will see him as a truth-teller who fought the establishment. The villain version. To his critics, Trump was a Democratic risk who divided America, turned politics into endless culture wars, attacked democracy, tried to overturn an election, and inspired the Capitol riot. Normalized chaos, governed through tweets, scandals, and insults. Faced historic crimes, first ex-president convicted of felonies. They fear history will rank him among America's worst leaders, a warning for future generations. The unanswered questions. Will his policies last? Tax cuts, judges, and trade wars. Did he make America stronger or just angrier? Will future leaders copy his style? The verdict. History books will likely call Trump one of the most consequential presidents, not for laws passed, but for changing politics forever. Supporters will say he was a needed disruptor. Critics will say he was a Democratic stress test. One thing's clear, love him or hate him, America and the world will be talking about Trump for decades.